and again, throughout your trading journey, your priorities shift, right? A bigger picture example is as younger traders, the goal is usually to make as much money as possible, right? So return on investment is the most important goal. As you get older and more successful, as you grow your account, really the goal shifts from return on investment to don't blow my account, risk management. So you actually become more, the better you get, the more conservative you become. And it's like kind of the risk profile, right? When you have nothing, or the less you have to lose, the more aggressive you can be because there's not all too much to lose, right? But the more you have and the more you've acquired over time, all of a sudden there's a lot more you can lose if things go bad. So you want to, the bet goes more to conserving that capital. And that goes from a monetary perspective. It also goes from a life perspective. Again, my trading journey started off when I was like 21 years old, unemployed, or I was working 3 jobs that, odd jobs basically, that I can always get back. So there wasn't really much to lose, right? I didn't have any mortgage or I didn't have any family or anything like that, right? If I failed, I wasn't really going back too far from where I was currently at. Like if I failed, it was like taking a step back. Like, okay, took one step back. You look at it now where trading is my career. I have a family. I have a good size house, too big of a house for us in my opinion, but a big house that requires a big mortgage payment, different investment accounts for myself, my wife, my kid, different businesses that I'm investing in. There's a lot more to lose if things were to go bad. So I've become a lot less risky because I don't need to be risky anymore. And with that being said, so it shifts, that perspective shifts in trading. And I think in life in general, I mean, even think about other aspects of life where when you guys are younger and you're doing like a whole bunch of dumb stuff. So like, for example, who was it? It was Jason Stapleton was like this, where, he wanted a motorcycle, right? I've got my motorcycle license. I never actually bought a motorcycle because I didn't want to pay for insurance, but I thought it was a cool thing just to learn how to ride a bike. I loved it. It was fun. But Jason Stapleton had got a motorcycle license, I think, right after I did, and he was all excited about getting the bike and everything because I don't think he ever had one growing up. And his wife shut him down. His wife was like, "No, you're not doing it. Putting my foot down." And he thought about it. He was a little bit upset, but he thought about it. He's like, well, it's a different story. When he's, 18 years old and 21 years old, right? And you're out there doing stuff on your bike, right? There's really nothing to lose. I mean, you hurt yourself. He goes out and has a biking accident now. Well, now the family is affected. The kids are affected. The business is affected, right? There's so much more that happens with it. So I think even in life, we become a lot less risky with what we do because we start to think about the consequences aren't just about you. They're about others as well. So you see that in trading. But what also happens in trading is, sticking with that same type of risk perspective, is your priorities tend to shift, right? So what did I say the other day? I had a debate on Twitter because I said this. I had a debate on Twitter because I said I would be a much more profitable trader if I were able to trade the London Open, right? If I trade, I think the London Open is the absolute best time to be a trader, right? So like that, was it 2, like that, not even the London Open before, like 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock a.m. your time, if you guys are over in the UK, right? That is the best time because you're coming off of a very slow Asia market. You guys are the biggest market that's opening up at the time, right? It's kind of like first dibs. Everyone's scattering to get positions on, get positions off, and there's really good movement on there. That's why you see about all these, you ever heard of London breakout strategies and stuff like that? FTBs, right? Really, really good times to trade, right? Now, nothing wrong with this session. This is the London US session, right? The second half of London, first half of US. Nothing wrong with this session. It's a good blend. But I think the London Open is better because you guys are the momentum is kicking off. We're kind of hoping to hop on the momentum, but the momentum is kicking off. And I said I would be a much more profitable trader if I would trade the London Open, I think. But I refuse to wake up 2 o'clock every day. It would be 2 a.m. my time. I'd have to wake up. Probably before that if I want to do any type of prep. But let's say I just wake up and wipe the crust out of my eyes and start trading. 2 a.m. I certainly can't do that now. But it's not worth, I said it wasn't worth the sacrifice on my life, right? It wasn't worth being sleep deprived and whatnot. And the response from the guy was like, well, no, sometimes you got to grind it out. There's no excuses and blah, blah, blah. If it means sacrificing some sleep to make the money, then you got to do it. And first I was like, what are you talking about? But then I was like, you know what? A younger me would have thought that same way. Because I shared this story with you guys. When I first started trading, I was 18 hours a day learning how to trade, right? I was investing everything. I would get enough sleep to sleep, but I was, everything was in trading because I was young. I had that motor. I was so hungry for that success because there was no success there that I was willing to sacrifice everything else to get that success, right? So it was worth the payoff. It was worth the opportunity cost, I guess you can say. I look at it now, and let's say I wanted to consistently trade the London Open, right? 2 a.m. in the morning, right? So I've probably got to somehow condition myself to go to bed, what? 8 o'clock? 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11, 12, total 1, 1 to 2. 8 o'clock would give me 6 hours. Well, what am I sacrificing by going to bed at 8 o'clock? Well, usually my kids go to bed at 8. So I'm not going to be able to read and we start the process at 8. Let's put it that way. We start the process at 8, 8:30 if we're lucky. It's like it's the WrestleMania fight to get them to brush their teeth, and then like we've got 2 of them now, so like going in, in the bed, they jump on the bed, and one jumping on the other, and then one screaming at the other one. It's like 8:30 if we're lucky, right? But so I can no longer read my kids' bedtime stories. I can no longer stay in the room until they fall asleep, rub their backs. After they fall asleep, I can no longer actually spend some time with my wife and watch TV, right? For you guys that are married with kids, there's very little time you actually have to spend with your significant other when you have kids, right? Throughout the day, it's a circus, it's a zoo of it running around. After bedtime is the one time we actually have to kind of just sit down, relax, and enjoy each other's company, right? Stuff that's needed for a healthy marriage. So I have to sacrifice all of that. At this point in my life, that's not worth it. Because the reason I got involved in trading in the first place was freedom of time. Well, so that I have the ability to do whatever I want whenever I want. I have the ability to have this free time with my wife. I have the ability when we were allowed to go out to take my kids to whatever I want in the middle of the day. That's why I got into trading in the first place. So if I'm still sacrificing that, am I actually achieving my goal? How's it any different from me working a 9 to 5? All of a sudden it's not. So those priorities shift. So stuff like that, I think it was Drew with taking, and the conversation started with taking single targets. It achieves kind of what's the new goal. Like, will it be the most profitable way? During certain times of market conditions, it will. But it may not be the most profitable way, bigger picture. But the question is it worth creating a little bit less profit to earn a little bit more of the outside stuff? And that's the balance that you have to find. It's no different than working less hours at your job. Obviously, you get a lower paycheck, but it's worth it because now you're home to play with your kids for an extra 2 hours. And if that's the bigger goal, if you're working and slaving and doing all that stuff in order to earn that free time, then I think the trade-off is worth it. But a lot of it's going to be based off your situation. Again, situation and age. I think there's a time and a place to be super hungry, right? When you're first getting the ball rolling, again, like pushing a car out the snow, right? You gotta provide a massive amount of force to get that car moving. You gotta rock it back and forward, right? Failure and learn, rock it back and forward, right? Really move those legs, pump it to get it moving. Once it's moving, do you have to apply as much force? You don't. So the priorities change a little bit. Now it's like, hey, let's keep it under control. Let's steer it. So it's interesting, and it's a balance. It's all about personal value. And again, if I would ask myself that question 10 years ago, Akil, if I can be more profitable trading the London Open than I would not trading it, hell yeah, I'd do it. Wake up 2 o'clock. I got nothing to lose. I can operate on 5 hours. Sure, whatever. And for a while, I did that. For a while, I traded a strategy where it was an automated strategy similar to the daily chore, where I had to check every 4 hours for a candle. And I was up 1 o'clock in the morning every day, 1 o'clock, then 5 o'clock. I had to wake up every 4 hours. Wrecked my life. That's how I discovered it wasn't, not everything's worth the sacrifice. I was good for like 2 weeks and then like wrecked my life. Wrecked my life waking up every 4 hours, running back to my charts every 4 hours. Ridiculous. So sometimes it's worth the sacrifice.